Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Victor again with my Ioniq 5. So part 1 of the road trip, we already went over the whole EA charger debacle. If you want to hear that rant, feel free to check out that video. I think I was definitely a bit naive, definitely hoping for best case scenario going into this road trip. And while things didn't quite pan out that way, I still think it was an excellent learning experience as far as road tripping with an EV. Range anxiety is real, and clearly the case, as you'll see me showing off my new driving style here. This is a clip from the drive down to DC, where I was trying to be range conscious, trying to be as careful as possible to save battery. Traffic conditions were pretty light during the drive down, so hugging the right lane was a very relaxed drive. On the drive back up from DC, back to Philly, that was not the case. I tried it initially, but there were so many tractor trailers that I was pretty much weaving in and out of the right lane and the middle lane, just trying to avoid them. And growing up, I've always been taught to steer clear of them, and I've also heard stories of just how dangerous it can be if something goes wrong. You know, a tractor trailer tire blowout can be catastrophic for anyone nearby. So I just decided to drive a little faster, and I ended up staying mostly in the left lane and the middle lanes. Plus, I also ended up not needing to worry about the range on the drive back. And you might ask, why? Because if you remember in part 1, I purposely charged the car up to 98% at the EA station because I was afraid we were going to be cutting it really close on the way back. I needed about 220 to 230 miles of range from the EA station, and based on my expected highway efficiency with heat on, I figured my actual range was closer to 240, 250 miles. So what happened along the way that took away my range anxiety? So we were staying at a hotel within walking distance of most of the museums and the monuments, so our hotel only offered valet parking. Now when we arrived, I saw a long line of cars waiting to be valeted, and then another long line of hotel guests waiting for their cars. I only saw one guy work in the valet area, which is really just a parking lane cutout only long enough for 2 cars to fit. So number 1, I would rather park my own car and pick my own spot. Number 2, hotel valet parking was over $50 a night. And number 3, it looked like it was going to be a lot of waiting if we did do the valet for 2 days. So I ended up finding street parking just on the other side of the street for the first night, which is also why I wanted to still have the cargo cover with me if I needed it. And luckily, our hotel room actually faced that street, so I had a perfect view of the car all night. And the next day, we went out, and then when we came back in the afternoon, I found a garage just half a block up, and the overnight rate was only $21, and they had 3 level 2 chargers that were free. Now the catch was I was only allowed to charge for 2 hours. After that, they would need to move my car so that they could free up the chargers for anyone else. So I decided I would, again, rather repark the car myself so I could choose my own spot. So I came back at the 2-hour mark, moved the car to a regular spot. But those 2 hours of charging gave me 9% battery back. So that was a cushion that really put my mind at ease as far as range anxiety. Also, I think if I had needed more range, I probably could have talked to them, and I think I could have charged the car overnight, because this garage actually closes late evening, and then at that point there's no in and out. The garage is closed and does not reopen until 6 a.m. So I'm pretty sure if I had come back right before closing, told them, hey, can I charge the car, and can I move it first thing in the morning, I'm sure they would have said yes. So just something to think about for future trips. You know, maybe DC fast charging isn't necessary if the hotel or the garage have chargers available. On another related note, about a week before this road trip, we were eating at a restaurant at a hotel nearby. When I pulled into the parking lot, I noticed they had chargers there. So I actually called the hotel front desk, and they said, oh yeah, those are free to use. And I wasn't even a hotel guest, just someone eating there for dinner. But they were free to use, just plug in and go. So you add those 2 experiences up, and it really provides more options. You just have to do more research. And I think it's really cool. Like if someone told me that if you eat at this restaurant, or you park in this garage, or you stay at this hotel, that they'll put gas in your car for free, that's pretty much the equivalent for a gas-powered car. So I was like, what? That's awesome. That's a huge EV perk that I need to take advantage of. So what did I learn? Well, number one, I'm not so sure I can trust the EA charging network yet. I'm confident it'll charge the car, but how long is it going to take? If I have to budget in a whole hour for charging for road tripping, that's just not ideal. Number two, the Ioniq 5 is a fantastic road tripper in terms of luggage capacity, comfort, and versatility. The seats are reasonably comfortable, and that large, airy cabin really makes it a wonderful and relaxing place to be for everybody. You've got nice large windows for everyone to see out of, but you also have built-in shades for the second row and a shade for the panoramic roof to make sure you're not baking under the sun and that you can get some shaded sleep if needed. Now up front, that pass-through, that movable center console originally felt more like just a selling gimmick to me versus an actually useful feature. But it sure came in handy for this road trip. From being able to fit a large item that would normally have to go in the trunk, to being able to put my mind more at ease, as I'm the guy that prefers to park far away from everyone else in parking lots, because I want to avoid door dings and shopping carts. I go pretty over the top with this. I even look at how sloped the parking lot is to make sure I'm not in a runaway shopping cart smash zone, or if it's a pretty packed parking lot, then I'll circle once or twice and kind of evaluate all my options. In those cases, I look to park in spots next to cars in really good condition, and I stay away from spots next to cars with scrapes and dings. I know it's a losing battle, but I still try. In this case, I decided that I wanted to park really close to the wall so that I could maintain as much distance possible between me and whoever might end up charging next to me in the garage. Anyways, the Ioniq 5 center console allowed me to make a very graceful and a very casual exit from the passenger side versus having to contort myself and climb over something to get out of the car. And number 3, there may be free level 2 charging options available. Maybe we don't have to do DC fast charging during the road trip. This is an app called PlugShare that I just learned about recently. You can use this to do a search in the area for level 2 and level 3 charging. Some are free, some are not. You have to click on each specific location to figure out what's what. So that pretty much wraps up my first road trip experience with the Ioniq 5. I hope there was some content in there that was helpful or useful to you, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.